Men's Australian Open review. Sinner wins again. The men's singles Grand Slam season got underway in Melbourne as the first serve was hit in the 2025 Australian Open on January 12. Playing through intense heats, the sport's elite players reconvened after Jannik Sinner's US Open win capped the 2024 campaign with his second Grand Slam of the year. Off the back of a year which saw the ATP World #1 collect his first 2 Grand Slam trophies, Sinner laid claim to his champion status in Australia once again. He followed up last year's 5-set thriller, 3-6, 3-6, 6-4, 6-4, 6-3, against Daniel Medvedev, with a much more comfortable, straight sets, 6-3, 7-6, 7-4, 6-3, success over a disheartened Alexander Zverev. The 23-year-old Italian flew under the radar as he swiftly climbed the ATP World Rankings to officially steal the #1 spot in June, after the 2024 French Open. It was a year in which he won 11 pieces of silverware. However, since then Sinner has seized the spotlight as the world watches his career progress and develop to reach unparalleled levels, with this victory being just another stepping stone in a career which looks as though it will be rich in success with so many years ahead of him. Runner-up in both the Open and ATP World Rankings, Alexander Zverev continues to search for his first Grand Slam after facing his third Grand Slam singles final defeat. Despite an impressive display in the tournament, breezing through the first 3 rounds with emphatic straight sets wins and never being pushed beyond a 4th set in the remaining rounds, the German left Melbourne disappointed. Criticized for not being aggressive enough in his final with Sinner by Charlie Eccleshare and Matt Futterman from The Athletic, Zverev is beginning to run the risk of becoming the architect of his own shortcomings. Potentially adopting a losing mentality before the game begins, the world #2 seems to be shying away from the responsibility, lacking confidence and conviction at the final hurdle. Without a win soon, bigger, more concerning questions may be asked of the German's career and, perhaps, his mentality going forward. This year's men's Australian Open offered a great insight into the careers of the 2, currently, best tennis players in the world. Elsewhere, Lebanese talent Hadi Habib broke records by becoming the first male tennis player from his home country to win a match at a Grand Slam tournament. Meanwhile, unseeded Lorenzo Sonego fought his way to the quarter-final of the competition. The Italian fended off Joao Fonseca in the process in one of the most captivating matches 2025 will see. With the 29-year-old narrowly edging the Brazilian youngster in a tense affair where Sonego showed his experience to see out a 5th set 6-3. On the home front, the Australians participating in the competition were underwhelming. Renowned entertainer Nick Kyrgios unexpectedly crashed out in the first round of the Open at the hands of Britain's Jacob Fernley. This could be a potentially sad ending to the Australian's career, who, after struggling with injuries, may have played his last Australian Open, making it the final time the home fans get to watch their controversial troublemaker on the court. Jacob Fernley and Jack Draper were the shining lights for the United Kingdom in the tournament during what has been a bleak period in men's singles tennis, after the retirement of tennis legend Andy Murray. The 2 carried themselves into the 3rd and 4th rounds of the tournament, beaten only by the ATP World #2, Alexander Zverev, and 3, Carlos Alcaraz. Elsewhere, 6 of Australia's 12 competitors were also eliminated in the first round, while only 2 made it to the 3rd stage of the tournament. Alex de Minaur was the host nation's main hope before the Open begun. Known for his immense defensive game and emphatic forehand, pundits tipped him to go far in the tournament. The home star, ranked 8th in the world, somewhat lived up to the expectations but was eased out by the eventual champion, Jannik Sinner, in the quarter-final, 6-3, 6-2, 6-1. Away from the action, the all-time men's singles Australian Open champion record holder, 10, Novak Djokovic, experienced another hostile atmosphere upon his 3rd return to Melbourne's courts after his 2020 disqualification for refusing the COVID-19 vaccination. A cacophony of boos and whistles were directed at the Serb after he resigned due to injury in his semi-final against runner-up, Alexander Zverev, who went on to condemn the raucous reception Djokovic received after the match. Despite the noise around him, Djokovic played another tantalizing tournament, defeating young tennis prospect Carlos Alcaraz in the quarter-final and coasting through the earlier rounds. Upon such an upsetting ending, like Kyrgios, 2025 may be the year Australia says goodbye to the greatest player to grace their courts.